In today's review, I'm looking at the new Acebeam Ryder RX. It's a 14500 or AA sized EDC light with a neutral white high CRI LED and with a feature you don't see every day. It's got a fidget toy with it. It's got a bolt action kind of clip here that you can clip down and then slide forward to get the head of the light out. And we'll talk more about that in the review here. I had a fidget spinner back in the day, but I used it about 10 minutes before it found the bottom of my desk drawer, never to see the light of day. So I'm not a fidgeter, but I can get the appeal of this one. Acebeam did send this to me to take a look at, and for that I am grateful. And I'll have any coupons or discounts on the Ryder RX in the description of this video down below. So make sure you check those out, along with links to my social media pages like TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Here is the packaging that the light comes in. It's a very small box, but you've got nice color picture of the light here. Accessories with the light are, you get the manual, of course. You get 2 extra O-rings of each size. The light actually uses different sized O-rings. You get a USB-A to USB-C cable for charging the included 14500 960 milliamp hour Acebeam branded battery. And you get a nice lanyard here that's branded Acebeam. Let's talk about the construction and design. The Ryder RX comes in many different cosmetic finishes, and I'll put up a picture of that here. You've got polished stainless steel, which is what I've got, a Sophistico gray, a rainbow PVD, and a blue. And there's a growing number of materials. The one I've got here and the ones I mentioned previously there are all stainless steel. And then they recently have introduced a titanium model, and it's just this outer shell that changes. And just to note, the titanium model is only about a $10 increase, so that's a really good value. Most of the times titanium is a significant upcharge, but not in this case. On the stainless steel lights, it is a 10440 stainless steel, and it's a robust design that I think is very durable. If you look at the front here, it's flush, so your stainless steel is going to take the abuse. And at the back here, it's the most proud thing too. The button does stand proud, but it's not a problem. Obviously it'd press, but it'd go flat. So the stainless steel tube is going to make it more durable. In the hand, I think it feels nice. It's smooth. It just feels good. I don't know what to say. You've got a few lightning holes on the sides to see that inner blue aluminum tube. And then you've got all these dots here. And these are the detents for the fidget part of this light. So with the fidget here, we can see that the clip here has a passageway that it can move with inside the stainless steel outer tube. So it can slide over and then slide down. On mine, the sliding down is a significant noise, and sliding over left to right is quite a bit less noise. Now, like I said, I'm not a big fidgeter, but I get the appeal of this. And it's pretty easy to actuate for me to go left and right and down, up. I've got to press fairly hard to get it to do it with one hand or use 2 hands to kind of play with this. So is it neat? Yeah. Am I going to use it this way much? Probably not me, but I could see some people definitely would. It is a little bit loud. I don't think it's something that you would use in a meeting, or like if you're on a virtual call, Zoom call or something, just because of how loud it is. But I could see doing this while watching TV, or just if you're watching YouTube, something like that. Just kind of sit here and play with it. Keep your hands busy. In the down position, it exposes the head of the flashlight heat tube here, and that unscrews. And you can see it's got a copper inside part for the pill of the light, I assume. It's got a single post there with another ring here. That prevents you from using a flat top cell, but more on that in a minute. From there, your battery just slides out. As you can see there, this is the included battery. It's a 920 milliamp hour Acebeam. Sorry, I was saying 160. It is a button top cell, standardized cell, nothing fancy here. And it's got USB-C on the side, which is how you recharge it. Inside, you do have a spring down in there that I'll insert a picture of, but works really well. And like I said, batteries here work too. I will make one note that on threading, it's easy, but it almost feels like I'm going to cross-thread it. So just be careful when you're putting this in. Make sure you're not cross-threaded. Run this by my mic so you can hear what it sounds like. So that's left to right, and here is up and down. As far as labeling, it's pretty minimal here. On the stainless steel model, you just have the Ryder RX and the serial number. Then on the other side, you've got the Acebeam, and you've got those required markings that all flashlights have, pretty much. I wish you could put these underneath a clip or something like that where you wouldn't see them. One other little design note here is they've got a little part at the bottom here, indentation for the clip, so when it slides left and right, it doesn't make any marks on the light. I like that attention to detail. You don't see a ton of brands doing something like that, and you end up with a little scratch ring, especially on softer materials or more scratch-prone materials. Stainless steel is pretty tough though, so I wouldn't expect it to scratch or make a mark. I've got to talk about the lens here. It is offset just a little bit inside there. You've got an anti-reflective coated glass, a smooth lens, and the LED there in the center. So retention, the Ryder RX has the dual direction pocket clip here. It is attached in a similar way as the Acebeam P15 did, but this one's optimized for EDC usage, and you can see it stands out quite a bit, and it's not a small clip, but I found this to work really well in the pocket. It gripped my pant material, had a large room for different types of material, and it's pretty deep carry. Normally I like stuff that's super deep carry, but I'll show you the picture here. This one for me worked really well. It is dual direction, so if you wanted to put it on the brim of a hat, you could. Being stainless steel, it's a little bit heavy, not super heavy, but maybe you wouldn't want to use it all the time on a hat, but in an emergency situation, you could easily. I will note at the top here is that hole. That's where your lanyard would go probably, or you could loop it around the entire post here if you wanted to too. And I had no issues with the clip as I carried it for a little over a week here exclusively. Nothing caught or snagged onto a seatbelt or anything like that. It's a good design. Size and weight. I measured the length of the light in the retracted position like you see it now at 96 millimeters. When it's extended, it's 103.4 millimeters. The diameter of the tube is 18.6, excluding the clip. Weight with the included 14500 battery was 82.3 grams. The light is IPX68 water rated to 2 meters submerged. And here are a few photos with similar sized lights like the Raylight Lan and Pineapple. I happen to have a titanium Pineapple here. As you can see, lengthwise they're pretty much identical, and diameter-wise they're incredibly close. So let's talk a bit about the LED and beam here. As I get it in focus here, the Ryder RX is using the Nichia 219F, and it's a new LED from Nichia, and this is my first time seeing it. Acebeam says this is about 5,000 Kelvin and high CRI, and my Opalmeter Pro measures it at 4981 Kelvin and 96 CRI, so that's great. The beam doesn't have any tint shifts across the beam and no ugly colors like you sometimes see. It's a medium-sized hotspot, and it isn't perfectly round. I do notice a few kind of like artifacts, but really this isn't a big issue. I would be interested to see what this looks like with a TIR style optic, since I really like those TIR optics. And here's kind of the beam pattern in medium 1 mode. I do think it'd be interesting to see like a Nichia 519A in here, just because I think you'd get a little bit more output, and some of those you get some wonderfully rosy tints depending on your binning. So I tested the output here using my calibrated lumen tube, but it is not a professional piece of test equipment. Acebeam claims 650 lumens on high with a 14500. I tested about 473 at 30 seconds. On medium 2, they claim 280. I tested 221, and this light does have the ability to run on nickel metal hydride batteries. They claim 200, and I tested 135. Here is the Acebeam Ryder RX, and in ultra low it's about 7 lumens, which we can't see on video. Up on low here is 70 lumens, and I'm going to try this walking around with my cell phone here. Sorry, I don't have a gimbal, so if it's a little shaky, that's why. But let me know if you like this idea here. Here is mid 280 lumens, and we can see it, picks out a mailbox here, not a problem. Has a decent amount of throw, not too bad. And here is high. This is with a lithium ion battery, 650 lumens or so. Plenty for an EDC light. It's a nice beam, as you can see. Great for EDC style tasks. This isn't going to be a light that throws super long distance, but it's not really designed for that either. This is a 5,000 Kelvin Nichia 219F emitter, and you can see it's nice and neutral, about 5,000 Kelvin. A little bit of comparison here is a Raylight titanium Lan. This is a new 519A emitter. Quite a bit warmer, but also high CRI. Looks not quite as bright here, but in real life, I think it's a broader beam than what the Acebeam has. And back with the Acebeam, we can see it's a more focused beam, more neutral white, as you can see here. Nice overall beam quality and characteristics, I think, out of this Acebeam Ryder RX. For my runtime graphs, I used my DIY PVC lumen tube and the included 14500 battery that came with the light, 920 milliamp hours. On high, we can see that the major step down occurs at 2 minutes, going from around 480 lumens to 350 for about the 6 minutes, and then an additional hour slowly decreasing from about 250 down to 0. Heat peaked at 9 minutes at about 55 C. I also compared medium to high, and we can see medium was pretty steady for a full 1 hour and 22 minutes, hovering between 220 and 100 lumens. And I also did a heat and runtime test with the IKEA Lotta batteries, 2,450 milliamp hours, and that's a nickel metal hydride battery, since this is a dual fuel light, and it provided the longest overall runtime of 3 hours 6 minutes, but also the least amount of light, the bulk of that being around 50 lumens. So I like dual fuel, but for me, I'm going to use that lithium ion all day, every day. So the UI here is really simple. There's really no programming options, and the light has 4 modes. It is using a forward clicky button, so what that means is I can half press the light and it will come on, and I can go through all the different cycles, and when I find the mode I like, I just do a full press and it stays on. Some people like the forward clicky, don't like the forward clicky. I happen to like it, so here it works pretty well. And this also means you can come on in a momentary mode silently before you do a full lock on. And like I said, it has memory, so light will come in the last mode you used and cycle through the different modes here. To get to SOS, you've got to cycle through 2 times. So we can see we went around there and it blinks, and then it just falls into the SOS mode and continues to SOS at full lumen output. I will make note that with that fidget option in the UI, I like it over here in the locked position on the left, so that way when I push on the button, I can push on it as much as I want. If it's over here in the unlocked position, I'll call it, I can push on that button and it likes to push the light down the tube. And I think that's going to get kind of frustrating for people. I can still fit my finger down the tube when that happens, but I'm guessing some of you guys probably won't be able to. And that's the only place where the fidget factor of this light gets in the way, I think. As long as you keep it on this locked position here, if you don't want to fidget, you'll never know this light fidgets. All right, to recharge the light, you do have to extend the light into its position there, and then you just unscrew the head and take out the battery. While you can charge this in any external charger, like some of the X-Stars or the VapeCell S4 Plus that I've reviewed. It also has USB onboard charging here, USB-C in fact. You plug it in at the top here, and you get a red light for charging and a green light for solid. It is USB-C to C or PD compatible here. No problems there. On this included battery, it charged in 2 hours and 42 minutes with a maximum charge rate of 0.45 amps, and that's a pretty conservative charge rate of about half a C, most of that time being spent in the constant current charging phase. When fully charged, the battery measured at 4.149 volts, and the cell's low voltage protection kicked in at 2.874 volts. Nickel metal hydride low voltage protection, or when the emitter shut off, was 1.082 volts. As I mentioned before, you can use a standard button top battery in here with a lithium ion. Flat tops don't work because they don't make contact, and you've got this center post here to prevent that. It's worth noting that you probably want to use a protected battery here, or if you're using unprotected batteries, just don't run the battery down flat. Be cognizant. You've got about an hour of runtime or so. That's because the light doesn't have low voltage protection built into the head here. The low voltage protection is actually built into the cell. So my final thoughts are the Acebeam Ryder RX, it really ticks a lot of boxes for me on an EDC light. If you follow me on Instagram and see a lot of my pocket dumps I post from time to time, you'll know that I like 14500 size lights for front carry EDC style pockets in a normal urban situation. And the Ryder RX just fits into that sweet spot in terms of size and output, in my opinion. I thought the pocket clip here was going to be too bulky, but after carrying it, I've really decided it's a good clip and works really well. It's a nice tight fit over my pants, different materials, and fairly adjustable while still having a tight retention on there. It's spring steel and it's pretty good. And that dual direction clip means you can attach it to a ball cap, or at the top you can use a lanyard if you're that type of person. Best of all might be that LED choice here. It's neutral white, high CRI. It's like somebody was finally listening to enthusiasts who were all tired of cool white and low CRI lights from major manufacturers, and this is great. Yes, I'm probably a little bit partial to warmer, rosier tinted options like the 219 in my Raylight Pineapple here, but this is a lot better than what you see in most flashlights. I really like it. Overall, As an EDC light, I like the Ryder RX. While I probably won't use the fidget factor much here, it's kind of a neat bonus and it's created something different that's nice to see too. Pricing here at the time of the review is pretty fair too, with the quality you're getting. It's about $50 with the titanium model being only about $10 more. So a bargain if you're a titanium junkie in my opinion. On that note, I can really recommend the Acebeam Ryder RX as a solid buy. Let me know what you think, guys, in the comments below. The Ryder RX has been out for a little while, so I'm sure some of you guys probably have it, and I'd love to hear what you think. As always, I appreciate you guys watching these videos, hitting that like button, and subscribing if you want to see more videos like this soon. Thanks for watching.